Hello, Professor Phelan. This is my oral presentation for SIGAGE LLP that I was able to do for providing audit services during audit season. And so, a description of the internship employer. So, SIGAGE is a mid-sized firm that focuses on various aspects of business beyond audit, such as tax, finance, and advisory services. However, within accounting or within auditing, the firm emphasizes servicing government counties the most with local cities, states, and parks. And also like government type work involved, such as typical clients. These are typical clients during the busy season. Year round, the firm finds other focuses, such as Title IV level work for universities and for deadline extensions regarding tax beyond the deadlines of April 15th. Generally, the firm is flexible in terms of hours, project deadlines, etc. So, description of the work performed. During my internship, I was given a wide variety of opportunities. They range from simple tasks to those involving complex levels of involvement that demanded various steps to be performed successfully during each audit. One of my tasks as an intern was to roll forward the dates from the program called Caseware. And because these clients had prior year audits already with the firm, we already had them on file. And each year, um, these dates were to be updated accordingly. I found this task to be rather easy. However, some documents, such as cash lead sheets, for example, had to be read carefully due to their time reference. So, for example, some were referring to 2 years ago, some dates were referring to the prior year's budgets, or some were referring to the next year's January 31st, for example, for a bank reconciliation in vouching or in tracing when testing cash. Um, as my as my time during the internship flowed, I began to increase the level of involvement with each of the audit teams I was assigned with. And on my final client engagement, I did have the opportunity on working on the City of DeKalb's government audit. This was a great opportunity in finding the differences between a nonprofit and a government required audit in that the required accounts and balances differed. So for government, for example, they had required fund balances or budgets, comparative. I did note these differences and was able to take these as valuable lessons with me beyond the internship and towards my career knowledge. I did learn about the fund balance requirements by appropriations. So, for example, appropriations, encumbrances, etc., were something that I really had to learn while I was working with government engagements, and also learning how comparative budgets played a big role when working on a city client or a government client in general. For the most part, I worked on city clients, some parks, but I did have the chance to really learn and dive into government clients. Regarding explanations of how the work experiences met or did not meet my expectations, the work experience did not meet my full expectations. While it was interesting and exciting during my first half of the period of the internship, I noticed that I was not being assigned clients as much as I had hoped to work on. Although I utilized my time in office to learn more about the firm, audit engagements, and overall Excel knowledge to better improve myself as a professional, I would routinely contact senior managers or senior accountants and reach out to them for additional projects to work on. And from this, I would rarely be provided additional projects upon these requests. And at times, I would be finding it hard to keep myself busy during the workday. This was something that was rather slightly frustrating since I did also pay attention and notice that other interns' experiences differed from mine in that theirs were scheduled throughout their entire internship. So And I did speak with some senior managers regarding as to why this might be, and they said it was not intentional whatsoever. It just happened to be that the clients that they had this year lacked, or at least there weren't as many as the prior year for some reason, and so that meant that I wasn't able to be scheduled 100% of the time, which I understood. So regarding the explanation of how NIU prepared or did not prepare for my internship, I believe that NIU prepared me tremendously for this internship. I especially appreciated the Excel workshops offered on campus. I was assigned tasks that required knowledge from Excel formulas to work efficiently, especially when working on a larger client with multiple accounts with various dollar figures, nominal payables, etc. When working with testing cash, I was assigned tasks that required knowledge. Like I said, the audit class that I was enrolled in at NIU was very helpful in being able to, for example, identify assertions when testing cash. I was able to perform tasks that would have been otherwise difficult without the course's knowledge. Other things from other classes, such as adjusting journal entries from Financial Reporting 1, Financial Reporting 2, applying tick marks again from audit, vouching, tracing, etc. Not only did the knowledge prepare me, but also the business etiquette from NIU's education provided me a higher level of work or a higher level of etiquette when working with higher level professionals. This included taking clients to lunch properly, social gatherings, and finding how to socialize professionally among these people, and primarily also communicating with the client on a personal level when being on site at the client. I was able to work with them professionally and found that the schooling definitely aided me in being able to work with them, and I really appreciated this when I worked during my SIGIT internship. Regarding the explanation of how the intern personally prepared or did not prepare the internship, I personally prepared for my internship by creating a task list for each day. Since I wanted to adapt to each day's new challenges, prior to going to work, I would reflect on which assignments I had successfully completed, and if I knew I was going to be assigned a particular task on a certain day, I would review prior clients' experiences or prior clients' audits from the prior years or even prior clients that I had worked on before when I was scheduled. And in doing so, I was able to become acquainted, become situated in what is expected from working on a certain work paper. There were multiple documents that I found myself reading often, especially at the beginning of the internship, when wanting to memorize, the proper procedures, the proper steps of how to do or how to test cash, how to test accounts payables, how to test expenditures, etc. So, for example, the procedures for testing cash, I would learn the steps, and again, I would respect the differences from each client rather than just copying previous work blindsided. So even though I was taking into consideration a different client's work as an example, I wasn't just doing what they did, so to speak. And so I was able to really tailor to the client and what it was that I thought was necessary when working on that particular client. A description of what was the most enjoyable thing about the internship. Personally, the most enjoyable aspect of the internship, there were a few things, such as the independence, the amount of responsibility given during my time with the clients, and of course, the welcoming staff that took the time to teach and demonstrate what and how a job task should be performed. This hands on learning was great and allowed me to push myself to be at a point where I was really satisfied with the work that I provided. The firm staff provided helpful feedback throughout my internship experience, whether it be a follow up email or when I would turn in a work paper and some comment would be there acknowledging, what was great about the work paper or what tweaks might need to be adjusted in order to properly sign off on that work paper. And so also the firm staff, um, like I said, was very diligent in providing this feedback. And so personally, I thought it was very rewarding in finishing a task properly and receiving, for the most part, positive feedback by the senior managers after each of my clients' time spent. And for a description of an ideal employee for this internship employer, um, one thing I've noted is the ideal Sickage employee is a person who seeks growth in skill, knowledge, and connectivity. I've gathered that the qualities and traits that this employer looks for are things like spiritedness, professionality, and commitment. This employer would rather see an employee try a new thing and fail rather than to just ask for the right answer when working or performing on a given task. So, for example, I was working on a particular client. I think it was my second or third client. And so, because I wasn't very experienced on testing cache at the time, I did find myself, wanting to reach out and say, how do I do this instead of, working my way or, attempting it on my own. But I did find that after I attempted it on my own the first few times, I was able to solve or finish the work paper independently rather than relying or depending on another person, which personally I did think I found joy getting that feeling and being able to say that I was able to work on that and that was my own proper work. Um, I also noted that this firm provides many services to the clients, and because of that, each team is dedicated to a specific type of audit engagement, and that's why I said that I see that commitment is a thing that the Sickage looks for from an employee, just because there aren't many of each type of specialty or type of, for example, there is only one senior manager for nonprofit organizations, which means that that particular senior manager must have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and being able to really take that responsibility and be his own example, I guess, or being able to take what he knows and build off that. And so, like I said, they're looking for someone that's spirited, professional, and just committed. Um, there are not that many employees, like I said, within the firm, within government, so there is plenty of work. However, I did know that personally, their specialties are hard to come by. That is why, like I said, the only senior manager being a nonprofit for that organization currently expects commitment, or at least expects commitment within Sickage.